relationships, and very nihilistic from what we heard, into all sorts of stuff on the internet, left, right, and center. That's the MO we're getting. And so it could have been him as the shooter. I'm just zeroing in. Have you seen the video of senior there at the high school, Alexa Mednick, who says that she knew him and talked to him, and there he was as shots are going off, and that she thinks there were multiple shooters?
One more little interesting thing about that is he dropped the gun and blended in with all the crowd, and then left. If I had walked home, I just went to Starbucks because it's right there, and I waited for my mom to pick me up. But if I had walked home, I would have been walking beside him because he was caught literally on my street. And that's the thing about that is they were pillaging through, the school, and I heard that there were still shots after like 30 minutes or so. I heard there were still shots. I don't know if that was the police officers or what, but that's what I heard. And if that is true, then there's no way, because he would not. I know exactly how long it takes to walk to my house because I've walked this route for 2 years.
Sure, so you're saying the official story doesn't add up, and over and over and over again, we now know, you said you've been a listener a few years, we're talking during the break. Vegas now, they admit the official story's not true, and the guy was a gun runner. Well, we first got that from FBI sources the day after he'd gone to the Middle East. We're not saying we know exactly what happened, we're just saying we've been lied to, and credible sources are telling us that. What does your gut tell you is going on here, Jalen Martin, again, there at the high school, the majority Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida?
I think my gut's screaming at me right now. Look for whatever is happening, because what's happening, at least what they say is happening, isn't really all of it. I think that the Secret Service had some indication weeks ago that something like this was going to happen. So they decided, okay, we need to make an escape plan for all these kids and stuff like that, just in case. But they didn't tell. I don't think they told the teachers either, because my teacher would have gave me some indication as to why. Because I asked him, why are they doing all this? Why is the Secret Service here? He was like, I don't know. And I asked him last night, did they have some indication that something might happen? He said they didn't explicitly say anything. So I don't think the teachers knew. My teacher would have at least hinted at it if he was told not to say anything. But this is like something you really don't expect to happen at your school.
Jalen, in your own words, because you got cut off on the last break, you were getting into your friends coming out, people that knew him as well, but I don't want to put words in your mouth. Repeat what you were trying to finish when you talked about people that you talked to saying multiple shooters as well. As we have a lot of witnesses coming forward, more video clips coming up in the next segment of You'll Ride Shotgun with us a few more minutes. But just briefly, what specifically did your friends and classmates say they thought?
Okay, so they said that after the school was clear and everyone was, mostly gone, I think one of the people I talked to said they talked to, I can't remember her name, but the girl who's in that video who was like, there was multiple shooters. She said that she was with her, I think. And the weird thing about that is that she was with her, and then she heard the shots too. This is two people in the same place heard these shots that obviously he couldn't have done. So I think there's
Jalen, I know school's off today, but I know you're busy. You've gotten in a windy spot. I know you're walking around outside. So let me put you on hold. If you can do 5 more minutes, I want to come back, try to get you in a spot where it's audible, and we're going to come right back to you. We appreciate your courage, but I want to get this clear. So I'm having trouble getting the last part. You're crystal clear, more articulate than I am, and most of my other crew around here. When your phone's clear, it's the phone that is being inarticulate here. So we're going to try to get to a spot where the wind is not blowing in the receiver. I'm going to get to it next hour. We put this out on the web from the live show. We'll put the clips on the front and the back of more people coming forward. KPRC, KHOU saying, oh yeah, multiple shooters. You name it. That's all coming up when we come back. I've got a plug though. We're not going to be here. The crew keeps pointing that out to me. We've got 50% off all of the Super Blue fluoride-free toothpaste. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we have 50% off the super high-quality fluoride-free toothpaste. And it's fortified with colloidal silver. It's fortified with high-quality iodine. And we use one of the top firms in the country that produces some of the top lines of organic toothpaste. But I can tell you right now that some of the top lines of organic toothpaste have about 50 cents to $1 worth of product in them. We put up to $3, depending on the run, because stuff costs different each run, $2 to $3 in each tube. And then when we sell it for $11-12, that's a good deal. At $7.47 at 50% off right now, it's basically a loss leader for us, but I want you to see how great it is. And your purchase does help the broadcast. So the Super Blue fluoride-free mouthwash with colloidal silver and iodine, the Super Blue toothpaste for adults and children. We have 2 different types. It's available. An additional 10% off when you sign up for auto ship each month, or every 2-3 months. You can cancel anytime, and you get an additional 10% off. And that way you get it in your mail every 15, 30, 42, 60, or 90 days. InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com, or 888-253-3139. And a bunch of other big specials are about to end as well. 50% off on the liver and kidney cleanse, Icarin, super high-powered, super high-quality, only $19.95 and 50% off. That's our latest product. I want you to see how great it is. Cell Force Plus, 53% off. That's going to be called DNA Force Plus very soon. And a bunch of other products. Those discounts are going to have to end early next week, so take advantage of that and fund a cutting-edge organization that will cover the news the globals don't want you to be aware of.
Trace in New Jersey wants to talk about vaccines. Go ahead, Trace.
First off, I wanted to start off with saying I've been waiting hours to talk to you, my man. You're one of my most favorite hosts. Second, I'd like to say Super Blue, Survival Shield, the Skillful Defense Pack, they're all amazing, and I just ordered them all again, along with the Organic Urban Garden Seed Kit at Infowars.com. But back to my point, in the early 1990s, ADHD was on the rise. My parents, they didn't believe that vaccines could ever hurt anybody, yet found out, yes, I do have ADHD. I've been taking Brain Force now for about almost 2 years, and with Brain Force, I'm able to focus perfectly. And my parents said that before the age of 7, I was not as hyperactive. And that's what got me, PQ'd, wondering, hey, maybe it was something in a vaccine that could have triggered this change in me that made me so hyperactive. What is it?
I do think we're seeing a lot of these behavior disabilities. Well, for one, we're cramming kids into a classroom for 8 hours a day and expecting them to sit and shut up and not talk, and put their hands on their lap. So I think that's part of the problem. And then I think the other part of the problem is we're also injecting them with vaccines. It's probably having an increased incidence of developmental disabilities. What's your take on that, Lori?
I want to, say to Trace, I think it's really great that he's asking questions, and he's looking at things like Brain Force, and he's thinking about, things that he can do to take control of his own health.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance. You've found it, the front lines of the human awakening. It's the Infowar. And now, Alex Jones.
There must be some kind of...
Jalen Martin is a student at the high school. We've confirmed his student ID, who he is, his social media. He's telling us that friends of his said they thought there were multiple shooters. There have been weird Secret Service, SWAT team-style drills going on. A lot of bizarre stuff if you just joined us. But now we've got more clips, not just Alexa Mednick saying that she saw the reported shooter walking along without guns, said, oh, good, it's not you. We thought it'd be somebody like you. And then, of course, other shots going off while that's happening. But we have another witness who's unnamed, who was on KPRC, Hispanic youth. We'll find her name, saying the same thing. Here's a clip of that.
All the kids to go outside so they could start shooting up. So they started shooting from the first floor up, because there's only 2 exits in the freshman building, so everybody started running to the other exits, but that's when the other shooter started coming up. So everybody, and then I thank God to this teacher who opened up her door and let all of us in. She got shot in the arm trying to open the door, and then the other teacher, he got shot in the head trying to cut the other students, and it was like an hour, like it felt like years waiting for them. And then after all focus and pay attention.
All right, here's the deal.
The Army.
Full clips coming up next segment after our guest leaves us. But did you hear multiple people shooting up at him? And that's what the witnesses are saying, and they're so clear. But notice, I said that was KPRC. It wasn't. That's somebody over the shoulder of KPRC on an iPhone. So the news isn't putting this out. We know that KHOU got it, thought it would be on the news, and then it didn't. So the reporter, Matt Muzell, put it out on his Twitter. Here's a clip of that.
They're all in shock. Let me just tell you this. We just spoke with a former student, Alexa Medic. She actually walked down the hall with the accused shooter, Nicholas Cruz, after she heard shots fired. She said, "Hey, Nicholas," this is what she told me on camera. We will have it for our 10 o'clock show. She said, "Hey, I just heard shots fired. I'm surprised it wasn't you." Just kidding, like that. He had his reaction, "What?" And then they parted ways. She said, "I heard more shots after that." She thinks there was a second shooter. That's the first we've heard of that, but she believes there was actually a second.
And then that didn't air that night, but he had to put it on his Twitter, and we played that clip already. Alexa Mednick will play it coming up in the next segment. So, Jalen Martin, like you said, look, investigate. That's what your gut's telling you. But off air, you were just basically saying, yeah, this doesn't add up. You're going to investigate. You were saying most of the other young adults, that they're not buying into it. Recapping what your friends told you about thinking there were multiple shooters, like you just heard from that young lady, did you recognize her voice?
It's really hard to tell exactly who I was talking to, but or who I was listening to. I'm sorry. But in terms of what my friends were telling me, I had a friend who I think she said she was walking with the girl in the previous video who said there were multiple shooters. She basically was saying, like, she was walking with her, and it was impossible for there to have possibly been only one shooter because she heard shots still while they were all walking, and Nick was right there. So the whole thing just doesn't add up to me. That and the fact that the Secret Service decided to come and change the safety protocol a few weeks ahead, I think that's pretty suspicious. And one thing that I also want to say is, like the girl in this video just said, that there's only 2 exits, there's only 2 entrances, and those stairwells, they have cameras in them. They clearly should have saw them. If they don't have someone operating those cameras at all times, they don't need the cameras really in the first place, because there are like 3D cameras in each stairwell. There's 2 stairwells, so that's like 6. Then within each hallway on each floor, there are like two cameras. So this is something they should have saw. I mean, they should have known, okay, this is this kid, and okay, I see him running up there.
Jalen Martin, stay there. We're back in 60 seconds because you know the school. You're saying exactly what this other young lady was telling local TV and national TV that they didn't decide to air, but a citizen shot video of the interview. Thank God. I mean, this is incredible.
The scientists at Infowars Life have created a powerful formula for inflammatory support and joint support. Discover the power of ancient medicine with Bodies. Bodies contains one of the most potent forms of turmeric available. Turmeric has been used for thousands of years and is one of the most studied herbals today. It is well known in traditional medicine for its soothing properties. Our pure turmeric extract plus piperine from black pepper makes for optimal absorption to help boost and support your flexibility, mobility, joint function, immune system, and so much more. Regular turmeric root from the store only contains 1 to 5% of active ingredients, but our turmeric root extract contains over 95% of the active ingredients. Bodies combines turmeric with organic herbs such as spearmint, sage, lemon balm, and thyme to work synergistically for full body support. Try Bodies today at InfoWarsLife.com or call us at 1-888-253-3139.
We now take you live to the Central Texas Command Center in the heart of the resistance, rallying patriots worldwide. You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
Listeners and viewers, Everybody watching right now has to call their neighbors, their friends, their family. You've got to get the articles off Infowars.com. You've got to get them out to all the local media, particularly in Florida, and just demand that citizen journalists get down there on the ground. We should send reporters as well, because we have Jalen Martin, a senior at Majority Stoneman Douglas High School, about 40 minutes north of Miami, Florida. You have 17 dead, more than 20 others seriously wounded. You've got what looks like a autistic young man who was highly suggestible, would do whatever he was told, could hardly even talk, would blow up at people for no reason, with his folks dead, friends saying he was on psychotropic drugs, working at the local Dollar Tree store, and that they had both exits covered and were shooting everybody trying to get out as they went up, and the teachers would open the doors and they would be shot. That is serious intel, and it's not KPRC reporting it. It's a person with a cell phone recording what the local news is all being told, and only KHOU 11 talking to a whole nother young woman, Alexa Mednick, saying the exact same thing, and she knew him, and said there's shots going off down the hall on the other side, and there he is. Doesn't have a weapon because she says, oh, it wasn't him. Shots are going off. She says, oh, I thought it would be somebody like you. And then local KHOU reporter live says, coming up, I'm going to have this for you on the news. I got the interview, and then they don't put it out. He puts it out on his Twitter. And I was saying earlier, it looks like they didn't want people to see that. They got told. Well, now we've got KPRC with a Hispanic high school student who's laying it all out exactly what happened, about how they're pinned down from both ends, being pushed up into the building and being killed, waiting for the police to get there. Unbelievable. And you think, you look at this young girl, we don't know her name because the news wouldn't air the interview. A citizen caught part of it. She looks absolutely 100% credible, telling you exactly what happened in a first-hand energy, just like Alexa Mednick is as well. And then we've got Jalen Martin being told this by other people that were there watching Alexa Mednick talk to the reported sole shooter, Nick Cruz. This is stinking to high heaven, because the Orlando nightclub shooter was an FBI informant and part of a multinational security force. And there had been reports he was planning something and nothing was done, and then his dad was involved in all this weirdness and all this other weird crap, and showed up at Hillary speeches, and then was connected into all these other groups. And then you've got the same thing with Paddock and our hostage rescue team sources saying he went to the Middle East, he's a gun runner. And then all that comes out months after we tell you exclusively. The media will say, Jones says no shooting happened. I am not saying that a shooting did happen. I'm saying the eyewitnesses they don't want you to hear are on air right now. So we're going back for final statements from Jalen Martin. And he can call in. We've got his number. It's on the producer's line with any breaking news today, tomorrow, next week. We really appreciate him helping us. We've confirmed his identity, have his student ID, all of it. Let's play this clip. I'm going to play the whole thing coming up. It's a couple minutes long. This is what KPRC wouldn't air. It's over the shoulder of KPRC while they're talking to one of the survivors who saw, talk about riveting footage, a riveting interview, her teacher shot in the head as they're trapped by wolves coming in a pincer attack. Multiple shooters. Here it is.
All the kids to go outside so they could start shooting up. So they started shooting from the first floor up, because there's only 2 exits in the freshman building, so everybody started running to the other exits, but that's when the other shooter started coming up. So everybody, and then I thank God to this teacher who opened up her door and let all of us in. She got shot in the arm trying to open the door, and then the other teacher, he got shot in the head trying to cut the other students, and it was like an hour, like it felt like years waiting for them. And then after all that, we finally got out, and like they started yelling at us to keep focused and to pay attention ahead, the army people, because they didn't want us to see the bodies that they hid in the corner. They were putting mats over them so we wouldn't see them.
All right, let's stop right here. This is all coming together now with sickening detail. And I keep saying majority because I'm going from memory. It's Marjorie Stoneman, Douglas High School. Ladies and gentlemen, what have I been saying for months? The left keeps saying, if you release the memo exposing FBI corruption and Justice Department corruption, there'll be massacres. And I've said, all they've got left is a false flag card. Let's get Matt Bracken on. We said that last Friday over and over again. And we said attacks on schools, attacks on minorities. They'll have the perfect white supremacist cutout. An autistic person that was highly suggestible, and now reports of all these other shooters. Leader of white nationalist group confirms Florida shooting suspect is member of his organization. So we've got the left trying to cause race war in this country. And now the suspect in Florida shooting was reportedly a member of white supremacist group, a representative of the Republic of Florida organization told multiple outlets that suspect Nicholas Cruz was a member. The group wants Florida to become a white ethno-state. Jonathan Jerb told the Associated Press that Mr. Cruz had participated in paramilitary drills. So this is really getting crazy. Jalen Martin, thank you for all your time and interest and courage today. What do you make of this latest development with what we were just breaking down?
I think this is, there has to be, like, for sure, a second shooter. I think they need to keep investigating that. They shouldn't just sweep this under the rug as some other, school shooting where there was a lone gunman and then everyone's up in arms saying, hey, we need gun control. Everyone needs to take the guns away. That's why I said, I was talking to this guy, near the school, and he was telling me, these teachers, they would be able to protect the students had they just had the ability to fight back. He said, when you have a gun and you're going against someone who's trying to shoot you, you're equalizing the balance of power. That's exactly what needs to happen, because you see there's a teacher laying on the floor on one video that I saw with blood everywhere, and the teachers and the students are walking out. This type of stuff could have been completely, maybe not stopped, but diminished quite a bit had a teacher had a gun in that building and been able to just shoot back and kill him. Kill him or wound him. And as far as new news coming out, I don't really know right now. I'm about to look up some more stuff and talk to more people. But my neighbor, she got shot, and she's in the hospital.
Wow.
I'm hoping she's okay. Yeah, because I noticed last night when I came home that her parents weren't there, and one of her brothers opened the door and was like, hey, she got shot. We don't know where she is, actually.
Well, Jalen, our prayers go out to everybody. You've already got a YouTube channel. Go shoot reports with witnesses, upload them. You can be an Infowars reporter right now. And let's get you on board. You're there. We appreciate your courage and your thoughtful coverage of all this. And so please get out there, interview as many eyewitnesses as you can, because you see multiple news channels not wanting to air the reports of multiple shooters, despite the fact that reporters are pushing for that. What do you make of that?
I think this idea of like hiding what is true and what is likely true is just something that has become normal nowadays. I think that once they are out there, they don't want to have to say something that contradicts what they've already said, because they don't want to have that fake news moniker, even though they've already taken it. They just might as well just go ahead and correct it and get the truth instead of trying to hide behind a lie and not make it seem like, hey, then we lied about something. I think what needs to happen is the truth needs to come out. They need to set it free. And I think when that happens, maybe the mainstream media will understand that, okay, maybe we can start telling the truth about some other things.
All right, well, Jalen, we're glad you and others survived. Our prayers go with you and all the wounded and the dead, and, of course, the families. But, wow, we said the perfect false flag would be a white nationalist attacking a multicultural school as a way to make the leftists all look like victims and bring in gun control and a war on America's recovery. And now, right on time, what we've been warning of, their main card, the thing we said was imminent, it appears with all the evidence. Make no mistake, we've made some major gains against the globalists, but they're striking back all over the world. Now more than ever is the time to get prepared with the highest quality emergency supplies across the board. Medical supplies, emergency supplies, communications, tactical, it's all there, and we're adding more and more every day of the very best products out there. So go to fortifiedsupply.com today to not just see the great products we offer there, but links to some of the other great sponsors that we have as well. That's fortifiedsupply.com.
a lot of fun. I know her very well. You know, I did one of her last shows. She had Donald Trump, this is before politics, her last week. And she had Donald Trump, and my family was very nice. So I like Oprah. I don't think she's going to run. I don't think she's going to run. I know her very well.
Gavin McInnes, he agrees with the president. Hillary Clinton is nothing compared to Oprah Winfrey when you talk about incredible skeletons. And if she thinks she's really going to run in 2020, I think it's a bluff. Trump thinks it's a bluff. But Gavin McInnes, he's really up on his Oprah history. Gavin, I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with being a prostitute, but pimping women, bringing women to Weinstein, all of it. This is mainstream news. Let's talk about why you think she's unelectable.
You think of, you know, the identity politics vote, the woman vote, the bitter vote, the millennial vote, the dumb vote. She's got all of these different votes that end up being more than 50% of the country. The people who generally have skin in the game and get politics, they're a minority. So I was kind of scared. And then I talked to Roger Stone a second ago, and he goes, dude, relax. Can you imagine the kind of skeletons this woman has in her closet? And then he dropped it. But he's right. She's a lesbian. So I just think that Trump was alluding to that. And we've heard stories of her paying off people to hide lesbian affairs. She tried to hide that her husband was, her brother was gay, died of AIDS. She's tried to hide the fact that she didn't really grow up in poverty. I mean, she's such an obvious liar. And that works for daytime TV. But it won't work in politics where everything has to be aired out. She doesn't have a chance in hell. And when we watch the Golden Globes, too, we know Mira Sorvino isn't there because she said no. But everyone else, you look at them and you go, well, you're here. Did you say yes? I mean, Salma Hayek pretends she was a victim, but she did the lesbian scene in the movie for Weinstein. All these people followed the rules, and now after they've done this, which is really just very expensive prostitution, they put on their low-slung black dresses and go, me too. It's over now. I'm going to stop being an expensive prostitute. No, sorry, it doesn't work like that. You can't get on your high horse when it's fashionable. Look, we know what time's up means. It means I knew, we all knew, we let it go, but now the jig is up and everyone can see the casting couch. So starting today, we're not going to popularize it anymore. We're not going to ignore it. Ooh, how brave. You let 1,000 rapes go under the radar, and starting today, you say time's up. You're not going to allow rape anymore because it went public? Wow, what a crusader for justice you are. We're so impressed, you feminists.
You want to get raped? You want to get abused? You want to get killed? Go to Hollywood. Introducing Icarin, a 30-day liver and kidney cleanse, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. We have set out with top researchers and developers to bring you the strongest, purest, most potent, documented system for your liver and your kidneys. There are 2 different formula blends in one powerful capsule. It also funds the InfoWar, a total 360 win. Icarin, available now at InfoWarsLife.com.
You're listening to The Alex Jones Show. You are listening to an Infowars.com frontline report. If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
Ladies and gentlemen, I can now officially say that it's about a 90% chance that the Florida event at the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School that's killed 17 people and injured over 20 is a deep state false flag operation. We have multiple news reports of credible witnesses saying they saw the supposed shooter unarmed walking down the hall while shooting was going on down the building, and that people were pinned on both exits being driven up into the 3rd floor